Coming from the Kanto region, Ash Ketchum!
I'm entered in the Pokemon World Coronation Series, and I'm aiming to be the very best!
Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our podcast and channel, Paws On Animation.
In today's podcast, we're covering the final season of Pokemon featuring Ash, titled Pokemon Ultimate Journeys, and the epilogue, To Be a Pokemon Master.
In this season, Ash Ketchum's journey comes to an end, boo-hoo, as he goes up against many master trainers and makes his way up to Leon in an epic final battle for the World Champion title. And after 25 years, we say goodbye to Ash and Pikachu and Team Rocket.
And before we start, be sure to like, subscribe, for the Kids Play Some future podcasts from all the Pause videos.
What was really weird about this is it's being packaged together, and it's 57 episodes plus 4 specials. And for us, we kind of weren't understanding the point of to be a Pokemon master, but we'll get to that later.
Right.
The best part of Ultimate Journeys, of course, was seeing Ash win.
Finally winning. After all this time, and granted, we've just started watching the XY seasons, finally getting to the last 2, so we're kind of seeing the end before we get to the other ends of it. So, still, we were finally going to see it happen after it had been already blowing up the internet when it was out in Japan.
Yes, and I remember just sharing so much art and fan art and things people had, even though we couldn't see it here. For some reason, they decided we didn't need to see it at the same time as everyone else.
Right.
Which was pretty crappy. So, we ended up seeing it on Netflix, which is where we've seen all the other Pokemon Journey series.
Right.
And unfortunately, they aired it way after the end of the series, way after it being seen everywhere else all around the world.
Yeah.
But we're still excited watching those few episodes leading up to his master win.
Right, exactly. So, we finally got to see it lead up to this because the majority of the episodes were him training and doing the tournaments. That was a majority of these last batch of episodes for Ultimate Journeys, and then the epilogue. And the thing was that they had built up so much with the battles and things, even though we knew pretty much the outcome, it was still kind of interesting to see how it played out. We were kind of concerned he wasn't going to make it, even though we already knew.
Right.
So it was that really engaging. And when it got to the final battle with him and Leon, they really made it really exciting, I have to say. They even got to play the old theme song. And I mean the OG one, not a re-edition or a cover. They actually played the original theme over the final battle. And what was funny was, we said, all that build up, all these major attacks and fire, electricity and stuff, and then how that added Pikachu win is that with a headbutt. You're like, that's how you won?
What?
That's how you won all that, all those powers, headbutt. Alright then, and you win!
And the funniest part is Team Rocket came to see the
Yes!
win.
Yes, they stopped everything to watch him win. They cheered on, what's the one from the black and white? Iris.
Yeah.
They cheered on Iris because she's one of their favorites, and they cheered on Ash. Like,
He's
Twerpet, their favorite Twerpet and their favorite Twerp. What I thought was hilarious. Yes, they stopped everything to cheer on Ash, and it was almost best things ever. Like, how are you more supportive than the mom?
Rascal said, think of this, they went and bought tickets.
Yes!
To come see him.
They bought tickets, yeah? They bought tickets, they live streamed it, they commentary, they bought food, they kept supporting, you can do it, Twerp, you can do it!
And of course it broke the internet when it happened.
Yes.
Of course it would.
Yes.
But it was so exciting, even though we already knew the outcome, even though we had seen all the talk on it and the posts and everything. It just didn't matter. Getting to see those 3 episodes, the 2 leading up to the win, were still magical for us and still exciting. And you got to see, what's his name, the professor?
Oh, Professor Oak?
No,
Oh.
not Professor Oak. Sylveon's man.
Oh, the one from Alola.
Yeah.
Was it Kukui?
Yeah, Kukui was there. And in the episodes before that, he was pretending to be some type
masked
of
wrestler.
luchadora. And it was
Yeah.
like, everybody there is stupid. There's no way in the world they should know this is him.
Oh my god.
And, the only one who figured it out was James, which was hilarious.
You're right. So the whole thing led up to that. And if you're wondering what happened with Go, he had his own thing pretty much. I'm not kidding. When it got to get into the last battles and the last 5 matchups for the fight, Go had to go back to his mission to find Mew because they called him in. And he didn't really get to see Ash live or anything. And it was really odd considering how long they've been traveling that he didn't go see him live. Ash had to be dragged with Go, but Go wasn't going to stay for Ash, which was a little weird.
Yeah, it was. And what was even weirder to me is when he told him, oh, Ash thought they were going to travel together, like we did. Oh,
Yeah, like the
and
next
Ash
series.
was ready. Let's go. No, I was thinking I would do this on my own.
What? What? I don't think anyone really expected that. Even Ash was kind of surprised. Like, well, I figure after all of this, you just keep traveling together till you had to leave. But this wasn't like, okay, he's forced to leave because the parents are moving somewhere. He can't travel or something where he couldn't stay. He's unable to go with him. No, he just kind of chooses to continue with his own mission. I mean, we know that was his goal anyway, to find Mew, catch all the Pokemon, all that, which was going to be like never ending, but the way they did it just to get him out of the show so Ash could be back to being like just Pikachu, it was really strange. Considering that everybody in the franchise except Go watched the final battle. Not just Team Rocket, even though we love that they had the most fun with it, but his mom and Professor Oak, his Pokemon, all his friends he's ever traveled with all came together and watched live from all the past seasons, all his friends, all his rivals, all the people he helped. Everyone saw it but the newest edition.
Well,
Even Tracy was there.
I think it was hinted at that Go kinda was selfish
A little bit.
in the beginning of the Journey series, and he had to learn to get along with Ash. He had some friend we met later that was his supposed first friend, and then we had Chloe. But he really didn't do a lot of things with Chloe either. He knew her from school. Go kinda was selfish. He wanted all the Pokemon for himself. He never said, hey Ash, do you mind if I get this one? He just, it's mine, it's mine, it's mine, it's mine, it's mine. And that's what he did the whole time.
Yeah.
So when he went on his own journey, because he was in the cave trying to qualify for being
One of the mission leaders,
mission leaders, thank you. He really didn't care.
Yeah.
And they have been building up to that, if we've been paying attention, that he wasn't going to be there, and he wasn't. And then after he went, okay, great for you. I'm going off on my own now.
That's it.
He didn't have character growth in that instance. He had some, but in the instance of where he learned to be the best type of friend, Go never learned
did.
the lesson.
Which was weird. And considering all this time they had to build it up all the way to the end, you would think they would touch more on that. And we almost thought Skull was going to get a spin-off, but with Horizons, no, that did not happen. They just kind of copied his design. So that was just sort of an odd way to end their friendship. I mean, they have this sort of tearful goodbye, like literally twice, because they have them say goodbye twice and they meet again somewhere down the road, which I guess was metaphorical, but it was such an odd way to end that particular friendship or to part ways, because with the other ones, you had where the friends would come to Ash's house, come to have breakfast or dinner, have a little adventure there, find the Pokemon and stuff. They find what they really want to do, and then when it's time to go, they part ways and then go to the next show.
Except for Black and White. So this is the second time they did that, because we didn't understand why in Black and White, excuse me, Iris and Cylon had somewhere else to be, and Ash didn't invite them home, and we were like, what?
Yeah.
So this is the second time that's happened with Go.
Right. And it was really odd to see, considering it's his last hurrah. You would think they have a more tearful goodbye than just bye twice.
Right.
Even Team Rocket was more emotional than that. And then it gets to how to be. To be a Pokemon master.
Oh, wait, forgot one thing. The last episode of that, Team Rocket finally meets Ash's mom.
Yes.
She made breakfast for them.
Yes.
And they ate.
Yes. This might be some for you
It
too.
only took 20 years.
Yes. And they were hungry. They wanted food. I guess they were too nervous to ask, and she made them a whole big tray of food. Said, "Oh, you're an angel."
And then when it ended, he was leaving, and then they were running off behind him.
That was hilarious. And they were kind of hinting at, they're going to do their own thing after Ash because they showed that Butch and Cassidy ended up retiring. And we kind of thought that's where they're going to go. And people are like, so they're just going to be podcasters. And are they going to, not be in the forefront of chasing Pokemon anymore? Well, I guess they forgot about that and went back to chasing Ash, but that actually would have been a nice ending anyway because they had fans. They were like, oh my gosh, people are listening to them, and it was sort of a shout out to all their real life fans. So, I don't know if they just forgot about that or it just was meant to be on the wayside, but it was kind of funny that Team Rocket goes along with him.
And the last but not least strange thing of this finish was, Ash, your dad's gonna be coming tomorrow.
Yeah,
blah, blah, blah.
to be a Pokemon master, yeah.
Yeah, so we were disappointed, but we're gonna finish with this. The way this ended was kind of weird because he immediately left to run off again.
Yeah.
And we were like, but you won and you're home. Don't you want to be a gym leader? Or
What was his next
trainer?
Goal? They
don't
never
you want to be something else? But
they only ever addressed it one time with
made
Gary.
Him just do the same thing.
Over
He just
again.
ran off, left home, didn't stay home, and took off. Bye, Mom, I'm gone. And Team Rocket behind him to babysit as usual. And then you saw that and it was like, wow, that's a really weird way to end Ultimate Journey.
Right.
Then we get
to be a Pokemon master.
And that was even more weird.
Yeah, and it was 10 episodes of an epilogue. He reunited with Misty and Brock for a time. One time was Silent, and another time was another character from another series.
And those were fun parts of it.
Right.
We did enjoy those.
Right, and they sort of have these one-off adventures, and it's supposed to be applying certain things that were big parts of Ash's journey to him meeting these new Pokemon again. And one of the biggest ones would be seeing Latios and Latias from the 5th Pokemon movie, which to me was kind of funny because the way they had an ear, it was almost like they had never met. But what was most memorable about the 5th movie was called Pokemon Heroes was that the red one, I think, Latias, I guess they didn't want to bring it up that she was still in love with Ash after all this time. It's like, you're just going to drop that, aren't you? And that became a thing for the background where it was following him around, you didn't know why. And it needed help rescuing Latios, and Latios didn't trust Ash or humans, period, which was not explained why, it just doesn't, and that became a whole thing. And they ended up bringing up this one time only with Gary. And they asked Ash, well, what are you going to do now? You are now a world champion. You've done all this. You've gone pretty much across the world. You have all these Pokemon. You have the title. What are you going to do now? Are you a master? Does this make you a Pokemon master? Or are you going to do something else? And Ash actually didn't know what to respond with because he had been so busy trying to win a champion title, he didn't really think about it. And you're thinking, okay, so we're going to see, was he going to decide to be
right
at the end?
And I was excited to say, okay, he's going to be a trainer or he's going to be a gym leader. Oh, that would be good. That would be great. And then
he decides to go back on the road and decide what he wants to be. You're telling me you didn't decide what you wanted to be after 26 seasons?
Actually, what he said was he was just going to go on the road. The heart of being a Pokemon master is doing what he did before to get there, and he was going to go back on the road and have adventures and meet more Pokemon. And I was like, but
What?
it's the same thing you did for 20 years. Don't you want to evolve?
Yeah, and that's what they were doing
And
with the...
for some reason, the way it was written was no.
Yeah, with the XY series, it kind of leaned towards that, like, he became better, he became more mature, he was growing, he was beginning to teach other trainers some tips and tricks, becoming stronger. That looks like the road they were heading towards, him maturing, becoming an even better master. But now, it's back to square one, almost literally, and
Yeah.
it ends with him choosing the road to go down,
Yes.
and rest is history, and it was such an odd way to end it, especially with one of the final episode itself, reverted back to Ash's original design, which was the freakiest thing because he looked kind of chibi-ish for a while, and then the final episode restores him to what he was in XY, and it's like, you're telling me you could have had him look like this all this time and not look weird. And they just never address it. Just suddenly it's reverted back to the old style, back to the old music. And he meets this boy who has a unfortunately tragic history when you watch the episode. And that's what they choose to end the series on in
Yeah,
his
that
journey.
episode was so disturbing. I could not believe. Yeah, I agree with you. It was just disturbing. And I remember I had figured it out. Before we got halfway through, I said, and spoiler alert if you haven't seen him, we're sure you have. I think this kid is dead.
He's like a ghost.
Yeah, and he was.
And we're thinking, oh, he's sick or something. And they've done that before. We were thinking it's one thing and it's not. It's just they're very strange and they're very reclusive or something. No. They actually had a kid die at the end of the
It was
series.
almost like Disney still had control.
Yeah, it was so... It was...
Franchise.
Yeah, it was just really kind of dark. And it was like, well, this doesn't even belong in Pokemon. It was so dark they couldn't even line up with Team Rocket being in it. It was just a really odd episode, an odd finale, an odd way to send off Ash when your episode before it was him saying, as the journey always continues, you see, it's still happy and stuff, and then you get this. So, I don't know. It was a very strange way to end the journey for Ash. And I can only imagine how this new series is going to be with new characters and Horizons, because this was such an odd way to end Ash's legacy with that.
Now, if you disagree with us, let us know in the comments below. Were you happy with the way it ended? We weren't, and we just wanted to see him do more and be more, because he was capable of more.
Right.
And I don't know, it was almost like a cop-out where they didn't want to
At
write
every
the end,
level.
and they wanted to say, well, you know what, you can continue imagining him having adventures. No, I want to imagine him growing and being a gym leader or a trainer.
Yeah.
Brock became a doctor.
Yeah.
Misty, I don't
Misty
know.
became a gym leader.
Right, but Ash doesn't, and it just seemed to be a slap in the face to the character. Unfortunately for me.
Yeah.
But yes, we were happy to see him win. It was awesome. It was still amazing, even though we already knew the outcome. I wish that the last episodes to be a Pokemon Master had more depth to them, because it really didn't. Team Rocket was there again, but it really didn't mean anything anymore after the Ultimate Journey's ending.
Yeah.
And they have
there.
reverted back to being like they were in the beginning. It was like no one grew.
Yeah.
Everyone just
What happened to-
started doing the same thing.
Yeah, and I like the idea that if they stop doing the Pokemon hunting, they'll be podcasters.
Yes.
And
yes.
people love that. So, oh, this is actually a great ending because it acknowledged all their fans and they're really happy. They're making lots of money. They weren't hungry. They were having fun. They were together. They hinted at the ship even though they said it's not there. So, yeah, it was just an odd way to end Pokemon. We thought it was going to be like, oh, this was a fantastic finale after 26 years. It was sort of like, what? That's all you can say at the end was what?
Yeah.
And so ends Ash, and in comes in our new main character in Pokemon Horizon, which we'll cover after we finally get to the end of XY, Kale's Quest, and XYZ.
So, we know you've seen both of these. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Were you satisfied with the outcome? Were you satisfied with the way it ended? Did you want more for Ash? Let us know what you think. If you haven't seen it, it's available on Netflix, Prime. Right now, I don't think you can buy it. And if you haven't seen it, that probably means you don't want to.
Oh.
So we won't say give it a watch and come back and tell us what you think. We'll respect that you've chosen not to watch it.
Right. And if you haven't already, subscribe for updates and reviews of favorite anime series, anime shows, and all things animation.
Absolutely. And join us for the covering of XY and XYZ seasons 18 and 19.
Yep.
As
Finally.
well as Arceus.
Yes, finally covering those.
Yes. And then we will be done with the franchise that involved Ash.
Yep.
And as you mentioned, moving forward to Horizons when we're able to see it on Netflix over a year after it came out.
Whoop-de-doo.
Everywhere else.
Yep. So, thank you so much for watching your Mask Entertainment.
And at Mom Entertainment.
Have a toontastic day.
Peace.
Gotta catch 'em all.